right, greetings. Thank you for joining us for tonight's episode, Into the Unknown. I'll be your host, Mr. New Age. The greatest New Age person ever lived. I meditate 12 times a day. I walk through walls on the weekends, not really. Yeah, I'm practicing invisibility. Well, I can kind of do it, but anyway, that's a long story. So, here we are again. So we have the Lyra energies again. War from Martian energies I picked up on. Of course, I connected to like a feline, Mars, and Lyra. So it's a little bit different. And I felt some Pleiadian energies. So it's been kind of a long day, or tomorrow's a long day. I have to get up early. So kind of, we have the intros and everything. Usually, anyway, here we are. So, what are we doing here? Let's see here. So we're going to, let's see, avatar.com, we have private sessions. At a scheduler, shop here. I'm on the first, second, something around those lines of February. Well, yeah, running a little bit slow. Same situation here. I have a webinar tomorrow. We have a webinar for Saturday. I haven't even sent out the links on that yet because I forgot. It's been one of those weeks. Social networking behind the scenes. Speaking of worn out or being tired, so I realize many in the spiritual community are thinking like the new Earth is coming and higher vibrations are on their way, and that's fine. But there are some things here you have to kind of take care of for that to happen. Is we have a lawyer problem on this planet. Some lawyers feel like they are like invincible, like they can walk through walls and like they're gods. Some politicians are the same way. So just putting that out there. So some of these lawyers probably should send them to the sun or something like that. Put them on a ship and send them somewhere, and then you can have your new Earth. But until then, we're kind of screwed. So there's little details you might want to look into. Just putting it out there. As a bona fide New Ager, I have a lot of expertise in that field. Okay, all right, enough of that. Give you something to think about in the future. All right, Lyra. So Mars, yeah, I got kind of out of hand, you can say. Uh, the planet itself was turned into a weapon, technically. A weapon that feels like can dominate any other planet. So they definitely did invade other worlds. Definitely invaded Venus and Mars. Did go to war with each other. Definitely. And Venus has a lot of feminine energies, but they still have, a lot of power within them. So the felines, I mean, we're pretty much connected to them in a lot of ways. At least our structure, you could say. So let's see here. I mean, they came here, before the dawn of man. Not sure what to think of this planet. I mean, obviously, everyone has their own version of it. Not too sure how they're going to perceive this world, what they're going to do with it, what its purpose is. It feels like this planet, our world, was kind of dormant for a long time, where nobody was here. But I believe, it wasn't sectoid beings that connected to the world, to our Earth, and it does feel like there were some reptilian beings that understood what this planet was all about. Of course, there's different ways of looking at that, but yeah, it just feels like, I mean, some of the reptilians feel like they got here, they were on this planet before everybody else, but um, it's like they just understood this place a little bit better. They knew what it was, they saw its worth. Not to say felines didn't see its worth. They were here, but not really doing a lot with the planet. Um, you can say some of the felines saw, the reptilian beings that are, dangerous. Some of the felines are a little bit paranoid, especially when it comes to reptilian beings. Like, I get the energy of, what is he doing here? What are they doing here? They shouldn't be here. So, and it's almost like high school. And obviously not all felines are like that. Some are just, I just let them do their thing. And others are like, no, I have a problem with that. And they're the ones that cause a lot of difficulties for everybody else. Mars, I do feel Mars is here. Obviously, the past is not exactly the easiest to tap into, but Mars definitely had a presence here early on. Maybe a secretive, quiet presence, especially in their more higher dimensionals energy. It was very productive until they became more self-indulgent. I mean, my feeling on on Martians is that they're more powerful than reptilians. Now, obviously, there are Martian reptilians, but the Mars DNA is like one of the more superior DNAs out there. I mean, toxic as hell. I mean, it all depends too, but it can be extremely toxic. I mean, you don't hear people trying to get Martian infusions; they probably go crazy. I imagine there's a lot of lawyers that are Martian. Lucky us. Jeez. But Martians have also, yeah, they've mastered nanotechnology, cloning. I see a lot of nanotechnology with them, so they can sneak in or monitor a planet with nanotechnology. Yeah, there's like many ambassadors of Mars that are kind of looking like Pleiadian beings. Yeah, they're skinny, kind of white. Always for the Martians is well, at least some of the Martians are very like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something similar to that. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are just very muscular. There are different types. Some of them are just formed as mutated faces, and so forth. Depending on the atmosphere, depending on what was going, whatever they're doing. But there is a council of Mars that was kind of ignorant of how. I mean, it was peaceful. It was like a Eden in the past, and then became more forceful. And a lot of feline beings were modified there too. I mean, Mars plays a big role in the secret space program, or practically controls it or runs it. Or at least it runs a version of it. Mars is always involved in the secret space program. I would say Mars is the one that caused the secret space program. While I'm gathering from it, it does feel like they just don't they don't give a damn. They're just a dominant species. At least they're like gorillas. They're like gorilla people. Not all of them are like that, but quite a few of them are. Like reptilian and gorilla human being. Like some of them, now obviously there's some nice ones. Some of them are completely toxic, but powerful minds. Just extreme. I mean, they're taught to be mercenaries. It's similar to like we see in the SEAL teams here in the government. It goes more than that, but they're very good at combat. I mean, think about doing a combat on a planet. And it's like they wrote the book on it, you can say, technically. But they also have technologies yeah, to kill a planet too, from what I'm gathering. I always felt Mars is like a weapon. At least that's my memories of it, at least. And the Martian weapon has been used on our planet, obviously. Um, I mean, there is some good to it also, but the toxic energy here from the feminine, a lot of that here on our planet came from the Martians. Like the females just became power hungry, but they're also very muscular in strength, and they're just this could have been a female planet technically. It could have been. It was stopped, but it could have been. And I believe it's more around the Atlantis time. The feline beings. Let's see. Lyra because they have their own problems, with their planet being destroyed and everything. Um, they kind of they kind of stepped back from invading or doing anything for a long time. Obviously, a lot of Lyrans went to Pleiades to evolve the human. And that was the other thing I felt like the human. I think I mentioned this yesterday. Why the human was developed through them. Of course, every species has a version of human, but some of it, I feel like the felines felt that they would be extinct one day or wiped out. At least that's one version of why their version of human came about. You can say their version of human became popular for various different reasons. It just, and we have a lot of feline energies here, a lot of their problems, even the psychic powers here connected to Lemuria is very feline. Of course, you can connect that to other. Of course, Sirens have a lot of feline energies too. So a lot of feline energies also with the moon, and it feels like the felines are very much involved with placing our moon to where it is in its current position. And the felines also have the ability to move the planet. Also, of course, they have to be at a higher dimension. You got to really know what you're doing when you're doing stuff like that. But they do have capabilities of that. Yeah, just moving planets is no big deal, apparently. Of course, reptilians can do that too, but they don't care if they break everything. Felines can do a bit more tastefully, it feels. It does also feel like this planet has been moved around a lot by alien beings in the past. Of course, it all depends on what version of reality you're connected to. I mean, some people feel like we're on someone's computer right now, and we could be. But it does feel like this planet has been moved several times in the past, which also caused a lot of solar ice cap situation. It doesn't mean the felines are manually involved with that. So a lot of because of the reptilian wars with the felines became more combative. Obviously they became more because the reptilians basically feel like they're there just to wipe out the feline race. I mean, they're basically to wipe out each other. But basically, reptilians would have advantage. They had more telekinesis abilities. It seems more, not exactly mental power, but telekinesis energies. I mean, the felines are powerful, yes, but they can't always combat a lot of the stealth energies of a reptilian. Reptilians are extremely stealthy. Of course, felines are also that way, but I believe they learned a lot of that from the reptilians due to war. So a lot of our feline energies here has a lot to do with the Orion Wars, really, when it comes down to it. They just all evolved. I mean, I think the wars are still going on. I mean, look at our planet. Jeez, it's pretty obvious. I mean, at least the Ukraine thing's finally calming down a little bit. We'll see where that goes. That can go anywhere still. It's good. It's calming down. But the feline energies of Orion, I get like a blue and white type of feline frequency there, and they are, yeah, just extremely peaceful, similar to like Andromedans. Of course, they're their own race of Orion, but they're there to heal DNA and heal a lot of the hybrid colonies across, our galaxy. So there's a lot of hybrid planets that are, cultivating humans, different types of human species. Meaning there are worlds where that are kept hidden from reptilian races or adversary world, beings that want to just take over a planet, meaning worlds that can't defend themselves. There's a lot of planets out there like that, but I would say they're hidden. The reptilian beings know that they're there, but they can't quite find them. I guess we missed that one. So yeah, just send them to Earth. But yeah, there's it feels like there's 7 planets. There's probably more, but there's 7 planets in our galaxy that are hidden from uh, you know, predator alien species. I mean, this world, I mean, we practically raise predator species. We heal them and we create them all at the same time. We're just a little, we're a little bit of everything. It's like when some alien beings become nicer and kinder, other ones are becoming darker. Um, anyway, enough about that. So feline, let's see, feline energies, part of the Orion councils. Yeah, as advanced as they are, they still can't really see the future. They can't always make the best judgments until they fail. Until worlds, you can say get crushed. They learned a lot from worlds being taken over, and they started to realize, their place in the universe. Because there was a time when the felines were going to be just erased from the universe altogether. Of course, reptilians. You can say all alien species were about to be extinct at one time. Oh yeah, the other thing is the rhinoceros. So I was starting to connect with this. Let me bring this up real quick. So the rhinoceros. Let's see here. Yeah. Obviously, let's see if I can get this up. Obviously, is built for combat. That's not done by mistake. Uh, Now, it's not really showing like where they came from and all that. I mean, there's a lot of them are in Sirius, but due to not just their Orion wars, but just galaxy wars in general, uh, you could say the Rhino was genetically modified, and when they have like a lot of elephant energies. They're similar to the elephants in some regard, but the Rhino was built for war. I mean, when you look at a rhinoceros, it's like, man, this guy's not messing with nobody, man. It's like, I mean, he's built for combat. I mean, a an elephant. I mean, an elephant has a long nose, and that's it. He can kick someone's ass until he sees a mouse. Then it's all over. I guess because the mouse is just something they can't always see it, and yeah, it's a long story on that one. It's funny how a mouse can scare a elephant, but a rhinoceros is genetically modified from some other species to attack, I say attack planets. And, memories of them are here, you know, to help us remember. Yeah, because our planet was technically a refugee world. So I wouldn't say it's Martian. It feels like it's Syrian, but it could be from other places. Orion, Syrian. The rhinoceros is definitely, when you're a war animal. I mean, think about a world of rhinoceroses, and they're humanoid, and you just send them to planets. I mean, they're similar to like a reptilian. They're just there for combat. But that's mostly what the rhinoceros is, just basically a soldier. I mean, here they're taking it easy, which is good, but yeah, it just gives an idea of what's out there in our solar system whenever we're ready. And us like putting animals extinct, and what's new, right? That's been going on in the universe forever. I mean, that's one of its goals is just wiping out for alien races. That doesn't mean it has to be your goal, but some alien beings, that's their goal. And it's just the way it is. It's just out with the old in with the new. So, but the rhinoceros is just one example of war in our solar system, our galaxy. So eventually that'll be maybe more understood. I mean, it makes sense, right? There's probably other animals with the felines and the rhinos have fought. I mean, think about you're on a planet, you're trying to take it, live peacefully, and then a spaceship full of rhinos shows up, and it's like, well, I guess guess paradise is over. Yeah, because they send rhinos to different planets and just you know castrate the planet basically. So I would say there's some Martian energy there somewhere, but yeah. Uh, let's see. Yeah, Martian animals I'm not really seeing. Well, reptilian. I would say there are rhino Martian beings, for sure. I mean, some Martian beings look like devils. Jeez. like the devil, like with the horns. I can see that on Mars. I mean, think about it, you're just genetically modified to look like a devil, like Satan, and those are Martians, right? Yeah, I can really, yeah, connect it to the goat and mix with the goat. Oh, yeah, it's welcome to Mars. So, you know, take that or leave it. Let's see. The Pleiadian energies. I mean, of course, a lot of Pleiadian worlds have been hijacked, used even against us. You can see that some of that in the spiritual communities a little bit. Some of that mind control. Some of the spiritual teachers that are supposedly helping others, but actually manipulating instead. And they're also using our Arcturian energies to do that too. I mean, yeah, not to say Palladians are out to do that, but when their energies are hijacked, they can use it against others. So think about it, you can take, you know, if you're a spiritual con artist, take a little bit of Palladian, make yourself beautiful, take some Arcturian, make yourself, energy manipulative. You dabble all these little pieces and you can manipulate others in spiritual communities. Happens all the time. It's happening in churches all the time. It's happening currently. So yeah, I feel like a lot of Palladian worlds have been taken over by Martian beings. Actually, I mean, it took over our planet. But Palladian worlds, they know how to see depleted them of more of their resources. But there are a lot of Palladian worlds that are on some kind of lockdown. Uh, similar. They have an occupation. They have like a Martian occupation. So Martians, it might not be. Well, the Martians are still on their planet somewhere, but they're on other planets too, manipulating them. So as we go into our awakening state, finding the Martian element here is not easy. You have the pyramids in uh, was it Mexico that has some Martian energy, not necessarily a negative energy, but there is a Martian vibration there. The Martian energy here is it's within the human DNA, but is mostly hidden on the surface. It's here. Passive aggressive people. It's within some of the school teachers that are here. They're extremely manipulative. It's part of our school system, to keep us backwards. Yeah, you can say the Archon energy is that, but the Martian is very much involved with that. Of course, the secret societies are connected to Mars, Saturn, Venus. Uh, but Mars is the most potent. That's the strongest energy. That's more the aggressor, though. But definitely part of the secret societies, but extremely hidden, though. Yeah, they're. I mean, the Martians here are basically another dimension. I mean, to actually find them physically here is kind of hard. There are, like I say, they're part of secret societies, but that's difficult to tap. That's at least to find it physically. I like to say it's not impossible, but it's extremely hidden though, because that is more of the stronger energy within all the planets, I believe. I mean, Mars is just a small little world, but it's a menace. It's just, yeah, it's like a weaponized nightmare planet. Well, at least around the end of it, it just couldn't handle its negativity. Obviously, others see it different. It just couldn't handle what it was doing. It became so toxic and insane. Of course, our world has a lot of that here. It's like a lot of the Venus beings are keeping our planet going, keeping it from being destroyed. And of course, there are positive Martian beings that are keeping our world from being destroyed too. And that's part of the secret space program. There are positive Martians and negative Martians fighting among each other all the time. And they do a lot of mind control over the super soldiers. I mean, I would say even the super soldier energy comes from mostly Mars. It comes from other places. It comes from, draconian worlds. It comes from it's like it's been around like the human's been around, the super soldier's been around. It's always been around in some form. The Palladian super soldier that's another strong one. Um, Something to do with the Palladian super soldiers, like I guess like bulletproof energy, like at least for some. Of Of course, yeah, it has a lot to do with just being bulletproof, you can say, or laser proof, I guess. But also with the Pleiadian super soldier, always you have a Martian super soldier with some Pleiadian DNA. It's they use the Pleiadian energy to help where the super soldiers don't get mind controlled by certain beings. Like they program it. You might get mind controlled, but you're mind controlled by who you want you to be mind controlled by. So the mind is very protected through. It feels like through the Pleiadian energies. Hopefully that's helpful to somebody. When you're putting together a super soldier, just use some Pleiadian energy. so, so your politicians have some. There's there's Pleiadian energies that are used, like I say, used just borrowed. Well, yeah, you can take Pleiadian DNA and you can manipulate it. So nothing against the Pleiadians, but if you're like a reptilian being or Syrian being, whoever, has malevolent reasoning, things they want to do, they use the Palladian vibrations, along with others to manipulate. But that's where the politicians too. Obviously, a lot of politicians have been mind controlled. Obviously, but done in such a way, yeah, the Palladian energy helps protect their minds to be controlled by a certain source. Now, others can take over a politician to a certain degree, but I feel like it fails over time. It's not that strong, but of course, in the higher fourth, or I would say higher fourth dimension, that's where the clones get moved around. So we have our physical reality. That's our TV show, basically, our stage. So backstage is more fourth dimension, where we can't see the aliens moving around. It's kind of weird, but it's like a kind of like a quiet space. It's hard as full. It's like it's very quiet, and it's where they switch out the clones, but we can't tell because we're so slow here. So they can move out a clone, put a new one in. We'll never know. Now we might see differences in like Biden, but there's really no way for us to know because we're at such a low frequency here. I mentioned this before. That's why you have the news. That's why you have all this stuff to keep our vibrations low. New Ukraine, whatever it is, or nanotechnology us to death, or chemtrail us and everything. Using our. Yeah, I guess that's another reason why they took out the arts. Music isn't what it used to be. Because it's more programming than it is anything else. Movies is more program. I mean, yes, it's been programmed before, but now it's like that's all it is anymore. And it's like to keep us from seeing how this is all put together, because it shows that there's like a dimension where it's like backstage, and they can tap into it like it's like they go by like I'm use Biden for example. They go to Biden. They can, yeah, as you've probably seen drawings of this where reptilians are talking, or anybody can talk to like stand next to him and whisper into his ear or whatever. But they can also move him out and put another one in, and we never know. It's so bizarre. It feels like it's rare how they do that. I mean, but it's like only certain beings can go there and do that. Like you have to really, it's like almost like being a doctor. Like not everybody, I mean, anybody can be a doctor. Obviously, you can do a lousy job at it. But dimensional switching is done by certain beings that know what they're doing. Obviously, it'd be nice to see that publicly. Good luck. Well, they have to keep this charade going on our reality. But it shows that, yeah, there's like a dimension. I don't know what to call it. Like, I'll call it backstage. And there's nobody really. I mean, it's like you go behind our reality and you see, they can see the manipulations. They can just see what's happening to us. And for their clones, yeah, it's like they stop time, they change them out, and how they grab the other one. It's feels like they can materialize the new one there. It sounds bizarre. I know it sounds like science fiction, but yeah, it's like they move the old one out. It's like they can beam out the old one and put the new one there. It's like yeah, it's like they use like a technology where they can, remove the old one and put in the new one in, and without anyone really noticing. Body might cough or something, or he might not be thinking right. He might lose his concentration in our reality, but it means actually got switched out because he's getting, and obviously Biden's never really, he might get switched out like 20 times a day, as far as we know. I mean, and they keep him out of the public for a reason, obviously, because he's kind of dying out. So whatever that is, but it's a pro. I mean, the Biden program is just so they can program him. So they have him at that level. His wife too. She's programmed too, but he's a little bit easier because he doesn't resist because he's so old. He just does whatever they tell him. The perfect puppet. So it's not just reptilians that do this; it's other beings that do that. But it feels like feels more reptilian that move people out. I don't know. They just know how to do it. I mean, it depends on who you are. I mean, all alien species do it. It'd be nice to be able to see that. You never know. You never know. You might get a glimpse of it, and that might start opening up. You'll see it in your mind's eye. You wonder if you're tapping into that, and you start going crazy. You might be onto something. Because the alien beings, they see what we pick up. You see, when we tap into this is nothing new, but when we tap into this stuff, they see that we're going to do it before we do it. They get an idea. It's like, you know what? Are they messing with our stuff? And then they attack us mentally and everything. And then you wonder why you had a bad day and all that, because that's them messing around. So, yeah, they can't kill you, but they can drive you crazy sometimes. Of course, they can try to kill you, but usually, yeah, if you don't cross the line, they can just mess. It all depends. It's a mixed bag. It can be highly protected. It gets either way. So, yeah, the backstage of our reality is. I still feel Dulce is still a place where they still do something there. They're just obviously finding it physically. Like if you go there physically, there might not be anything there, possibly. That's not clear. It's so dark there. It's hard. It's not healthy at all there. But the felines here, uh, I did feel some of them that are causing us trouble. Some of them are like feline representatives that can, some feline beings are, they feel like they're they understand us. Some of the ancient ones, and you wonder why we can't get out of this. Like, why are we feel trapped? Like nothing ever happens. The elites left or whatever, but we're still kind of stuck here. It's like things aren't really changing that much. It's just because there's alien beings that know how we operate, and they play the game of keeping us shut down. Some of those are feline beings giving advice to other alien beings of how to mess with us. Like the ancient ones, they get kind of the elders, but just they're taught how to manipulate us. Obviously there's positive beings that are trying to help us, but it's like every time they get somewhere, the negative ones are like two steps ahead. Because humans are such a low frequency. It's I don't even want to go into it. It's like I'll use like a, a more padded version of it. It's like, you feel like you're getting somewhere with your family, like you're helping the vibration, even if you're not telling them what you believe in and all that. But you're doing energy work on your family and the vibrations are improving. And all of a sudden, like a family member gets sick or something happens to them and it lowers the frequencies of the family and or they do something they shouldn't have done or whatever it is, it lowers the energy. A lot of times that's a manipulation that came in. They can't get to you, they'll get to somebody else. Happens all the time. Um, and you wonder how, yeah, because they want to discourage you from your awakening. It's psychic battle, obviously. Nevada, of course, in the United States, Nevada is kind of like like the underground version of Nevada. That's pretty much like the capital of the United States, at least on a shadow government. Obviously, there's other places like NORAD, but really Nevada, I would say underground is like a version of the capital of the United States. Like that's what's running the United States. It's military, shadow government, military. Yeah, deep black ops. Um, let's see what happens after I say all this. Jeez, I've already been tested as it is. Um, yeah, just extreme black ops in Nevada. There's other places, Antarctica, of course, but really Nevada. I mean, there's probably other places like even places in Russia where Russia doesn't even know about. Even black ops from the U.S. are there. You just go in China. Black ops is definitely in Beijing for various different reasons. Well, some of their politicians in China are black ops people. No surprise there. Like something you would see out of a movie, obviously, right? Obviously, there's a lot of espionage going on, but yeah, it goes to the CIA, but the black ops is like a little bit deeper than CIA. Of course, the CIA is connected to it, so jeez. It is, yeah, anyway. But yeah, it feels like in Nevada, anything underground, Nevada, Arizona, but mostly Nevada for the United States. Um, let's see. Yeah, so yeah, the feline frequencies that are programming are like there's like I said, there's elders that there's not just felines, there's other beings, but I feel like the felines are pretty well understanding of how our world works, at least on a spiritual level, on several different levels. Uh, it's not like they wrote a book on our planet, but kind of. Yeah, they're the ones that are malevolent are extremely clever. They're just because we're like I say, we have some of their they're connected to us on a deeper level. I mean, you say technically in the past, humans are supposed to look more reptilian-like. Um, Obviously, the humans lost a lot of wars in the past, because the reptilian brain and our different DNA structure and everything. Yeah, of course there is a Martian energy. I mean, the Martians are connected to Anunnakis to a certain degree. How to turn us off? How to do? I mean, Martians have a way of getting into our mental state. You mean they can telepathically connect to us? They can open us up or shut us down. Um, but I still feel the feeling energies of basically having a good understanding of. Of course, there's some Martians that understand us too. It just basically is like an elite of alien hybrid beings that just understand how the energies work on the planet. Yeah, and it's like a game to keep us shut down. And they use the reptilians to put out the plan, too. They're given orders, but other alien beings are given the orders too to manipulate us. There's Pleiadians, there's Syrians, and Arcturians, and of course the good guys are there too. But there's many plans to basically, infiltrate our music, infiltrate our schools, and so on. Yeah, like Britney Spears, even if that doesn't make a whole lot of sense with her, doesn't really matter. She has a huge influence. She's been a goddess in other realities, like a queen. She's been manipulated on other planets. It's not just here. Yeah, she's been hijacked many times. I don't think she actually gave herself to the elite, but she was hijacked, like a human trafficked energy from another reality somewhere. Because I don't see her the type to do stuff like this. I mean, yeah, maybe a long time ago, but I don't see her the type to sell herself. Kanye West sold himself out, no doubt. Couldn't help himself. But Brittany, I feel like she more got hijacked than anything else. Definitely used against us. And obviously, the music doesn't make a whole lot of sense, at least the mainstream, because it's all programming us. Even the programs from it's interesting too. This now obviously that's a difficult one to tap into, but even the songs from the mainstream, they're all kind of interconnected. I mean, they're all woven into each other. What kind of tells a story. Of course, finding that story is a little bit difficult, but there is a story there. It's like a web to keep us shut down. At least keep the masses shut down. It doesn't keep everybody shut down, but it keeps the masses programmed. Um, you know, hey, this is fine. Everything will be good. Remember, relationship, job, that's all that matters. Materialism. It's like being told on a record player over and over, material matters. Find that relationship that you probably shouldn't be in. Yeah, it's just constantly telling people, yeah, there's like a sublime, there's a message. It's not just in the music, it's other places, but it's just the energy. It's like, this is what you want, right? It's like the sirens. It's like, you want materialism, relationship, job, wealth. You want all these things, and it's constantly playing. It's like the record player from hell, basically. And it's always on. And I believe some of the spiritual community got hit with a version of that. There's different versions of it. Yeah, it's different types of themes that are going on. Don't you want to be rich? Don't you want to have all this? It's like we have the money that's a problem, but then you have things you can't hear because they go into our thoughts. They're trying to get into our minds and get us to think a certain way. And it's working really good. I mean, how do you battle something like that? I mean, our monetary system keeps us shut down, but the mental attacks is like, I mean, you don't go to school to learn how to protect your mind. It's more like your mind's going to be, railroaded instead. It's like, the teacher's there to program you basically. And even the teachers some of them are possessed. I don't think all of them are, some of them are, especially in universities. Yeah, a lot of the university professors are turned into, or either aliens or been possessed by aliens. There's no doubt about that. And they find certain students that they are told to program them more because they find students that can program our society. Yeah, just to keep the show going on. It's a play. For the aliens, it's a play. And we're the students, you can say. We're the actors in it. And to break from all this is, I mean, a lot of people that are awakened right now don't go by these programmings, but that's the thing. You might not go by a programming of the news, but you might get put onto a spiritual program instead. Spiritual programs, oh, the bad guys are gone, and you know everything. Yeah, there's always different psyops going on that we can't see, but we can hear it. So it's very sophisticated. It's like how do you break a spell like that? Obviously, you'd be a rebel against all of it, and just become independent. Yeah, you might not have a lot of friends, you might be isolated, but at least you're not being programmed by all this stuff. Yeah, it might be lonely, but at least you're not, part of the pack. It's just like you might not have any friends, might have the relationship that you're looking for, but at least you're not a zombie. So, but yeah, those in the spiritual community aren't realizing that's, yeah, it's a program. And how do you get off? Not easy, is it? Far from it. Well, when you start thinking you know everything, that doesn't help. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of cult leaders in all this. Yeah, some of the cult leaders are programming people without even knowing it. I mean, on an astral level, they probably know, but on a physical level, they feel like they're doing the right thing. They're actually programming people. And how's that? It's like, oh, I'm spiritual. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I've been programming people my whole life, and not even knowing it. Ouch. I'm not sure how many or any are actually realizing that. It's like you kind of out yourself. I don't think we're seeing that right now. Far from it. But yeah, the spiritual program, you have the media program, the program people, and and of course you have the spiritual program it's on repeat. You know everything. Yep, you know what's going on. Everything's fake, and you know what's right. You know what's going on. It's like, yeah. So anyway, that's what we're here to unlock. I mean, obviously, a lot of people here listen to this probably already know that, but there's others that are part of that machine, and they can't get off of it. Well, yeah, and you have to look really, that's the thing about the spiritual community. You look real attractive, and everybody has to be beautiful, and that's another program. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but it can also become a stereotype or whatever. I don't know, whatever. It just gets kind of it's just another system basically. Um, yeah, obviously. So that's where we're here to basically we're here to break the mind control on all different levels. It's just when you break the mind control, and if you're isolated, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like meaning you're not that social. That's not necessarily a bad thing because it keeps your mind clear. Because we program each other. So if you want to have a huge social life and you're under this manipulative nightmare that we're in, it's like, yeah, I don't want to hang out with those people. Yeah, it's so complicated. So yeah, just those that are isolated right now, feel like you don't have any friends, but you feel like you have some understanding of reality, you probably do. It might be lonely, but at least you're not part of the system. And they want you to discourage you. The ones running the show, they want you to discourage. They want you to feel so discouraged, like give up. That's what they want you to do. That's what makes it so hard. Yeah, just give up. Just quit. Yeah, we don't need you. It's like yeah, it's a war zone. It's a mental war, definitely. So anyway, all right, we'll close it out. So blesses everyone. The webinar is tomorrow, and it's webinar Saturday. Of course, I haven't sent out the link for that, but we'll get to it eventually. So all right, blessings and good night.